The Baker's Wife is out. It's fabulous. It has been receiving blurbs, kudos from everyone. It is an international page-turning thriller, and I am so excited to have my friend Cristina Alger back on the radio show. She's the author of The Darlings, and This Was Not the Plan. Cristina is a graduate of Harvard and NYU Law, where she put her degrees to great work writing books. She worked as a finance analyst and a corporate attorney before becoming a writer. She lives in New York with her husband and children, and I'm proud to include her as a Point Street Reading Series alum, adding that into your bio. Welcome to Reading Robin, Cristina.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy.
I am so excited. I remember hearing about this book, and it's funny because I read it. I feel like I read it a really long time ago, and I was doing some rereading, and I was like, wait, why does this sound familiar? Oh, I read it. It's so good. It's
good.
Like,
I'm so glad you liked it.
It's just so good. I mean, it's one of those books where I know there's this whole sense of summer reading, and we're all posting about it, and it's a true thing, but, like, you can and certainly read any book anytime, but like if I was like sitting outside reading and people annoyed me when I was reading this, I'd be so irritated. You want to be outside and among the people, but I'm reading this book. I've shared this with a lot of people. So many just lauding this book everywhere. I mean, Nelson DeMille. Can we start with Nelson DeMille?
Oh, I know. I'm still sort of gobsmacked every time I see his name on the cover because I've been it for so long. And
oh my God!
You know, when we sent him a copy, it was back in the sort of very early ARC phases when it was still like riddled with typos, and I was like, oh God, are we really sending this to Nelson DeMille? And he could not have been nicer. And then he sent me an email because he put it in his newsletter about a month ago, and I was like, oh my, he's like the nicest, just most generous person. Anyway, so I'm still kind of in awe, but yes, it's a very cool thing
going.
for me.
People love to hear that. I mean, there's, it's a business like anything else, and books are magical, really in the real sense. But, as the business end of it goes, it's just so wonderful to hear the authors who are so generous with their time and, just bringing in the next round of writers that want to, that they want to help share their books because there are a lot of books, and
I know. And Lee Child also was, he was incredibly generous. He gave, he gave us a blurb, and then he and I are doing an event together at Barnes & Noble on July 10th, and
in New York,
right?
I think
so. Yes, I think I'm going to be shaking the entire time I'm on stage with him. But it's very cool.
There's medication for that. Just pre-medicate, like when you go to the dentist. Cristina, you'll be just fine. You're in New York on the Upper East Side. Somebody will hook you up on the Upper East Side.
Someone will hook me up. I know. Yeah, I think it's merited because it's Lee Child and he's so cool.
He is really cool. That is, I noticed that July 10th. And go to CristinaAlger.com and just check out the whole page, the website. Check out the website, but also the events are listed, and that one along with you have a wonderful, really diverse.
Yeah, we have a really fun lineup. Yeah,
you really do. And I just saw you posted that you'll be with Jamie Brenner at Spoken Interludes.
Author of The High Season, Judy Blundell.
Judy Blundell. Yes, I love Judy's book. And I was thinking I remembered it was Jamie.
I keep meaning to. Yeah, that just got added. I'm so excited about it.
I just saw that you added that. That's why I couldn't remember. I'm like, no, it's someone I love. And whose book, The High Season, was one of my favorite books this summer.
Yeah, it's on my nightstand. What a gorgeous cover. I'm so far behind in everything, but I will read it before Cristina, I do this event with her.
There's no possible way not to be behind. And when people ask what I'm reading, what shouldn't they miss, I always try and pick like a few top because people will email me and say, I'm going away, I need 2 books. So I give them like 10 that they can't miss because.
Right, of course. Yeah, totally.
I can't help myself, and I'll send a few, and then I'll just go, you don't have to rush for this one, but kind of do. Don't forget this one. But The High Season was fabulous. And Jamie Brenner, we did the event at Bryant Park.
I adore Jamie. She's just, I do too. So I'm thrilled.
What a fun event. It's
and then I had Beatrice Williams, right, that week as well.
I know.
So it's such a fun group.
It keeps getting better, right? Her Summer Wives comes out, is it the same day as yours or the week after, maybe?
It's the week after, but it was funny because RJ Julia wanted me to do an event there, and then Beatrice and I are friends, and so then I had heard she was doing her event the next night, and I said, this is sort of silly because I was going to go out to see her event, so I said, why don't we just do it together? And so I think that's sort of her hometown bookstore, so it'll be fun.
It is. So that's July 11th?
Yes, July 11th. Yeah.
Not that I'm quizzing you. I'm going off the top of my head. I'm going to quiz Cristina.
You're awesome.
See if she knows where the heck she could go see her.
Where I am in the world. I know.
.com. Where in the world is Cristina? And then you'll be on the West Coast. I saw you with Janelle Brown.
I will.
Love.
Yeah,
that'll be
Brown,
fun.
Yes. Her book was one of my favorite books last summer, so I'm really excited
for that. It was a great book. Yes, that was a really fun book. I really, really enjoyed that one, and it's out in paperback now. And I also go to your Facebook page, Instagram, all places where Cristina hangs out, and go to the Reading with Robin Facebook page. We have 3 copies of The Banker's Wife and 3 of The Darlings. So 3 lucky winners will get 2 books each, The Banker's Wife and The Darlings. So, and we never, especially with a thriller, we never give away secrets. Well, we do give away some secrets, but we never give away spoilers. Was that something you always wanted to do, go back to The Darlings and revisit character? Was that in your mind?
It's funny. It was, and I never wanted to write a sequel, but I did want, I loved The Darlings, and there were characters that I loved, and Marina in particular. I felt like she was just one of those characters that was really, even though she was sort of a smaller character in The Darlings, I really got into her character, and I felt like she was sort of interestingly positioned to look at other stories because she's a journalist, and right now, I think journalists are sort of the heroes of the day, in my opinion. I feel like they're fighting a really hard fight right now, and there's a lot of, fake news this and fake news that. And so when I started writing this book, I really wanted the protagonist, to be a woman. That was really important to me, and to be a journalist. And so I just thought, Marina's the perfect person for this. This is her story. So,
So you brought her out of...
I brought her out of retirement.
A little bit out of retirement. But I love that when it's not exactly like you say sequel, it's a companion book. It's a nod to your readers who will notice and say, and Marina is such an awesome character. And one of my favorite lines in this book was where she's talking to Owen, who says, I feel like if your life isn't in danger, you aren't reporting the right story. I mean, as you say, we need reporting. We need to know what's going on. I mean,
we do.
What a scary job that is, right? And just knowing where to put your trust. And there's so many obvious tie-ins and current event stories. I mean, talk about the presidential hopeful in this book, and where did that come from? Feels eerily familiar.
Eerily familiar, yes. So, the genesis of this book really came when I'm sort of a financial news junkie just because of my background, and I think financial crime is really interesting, and I feel like I know I'm alone. I feel like I'm like this one woman band saying financial crime is really cool and interesting, but I became so interested in the Panama Papers, which, is a data leak that came out of a Panamanian law firm. And it leaked enormous amounts of information to a journalist, and that the source is still unknown, but it's from inside this law firm that handled offshore bank accounts. And, what came out of this data leak was insane. I mean, there were, presidents of various countries, prime ministers, senators, drug cartel leaders, all these people who are storing money in offshore accounts. And I just thought, someone needs to write about that. I mean, this is so fascinating that this entire world of offshore banking exists, and no one knows who's doing business with who. And I thought, we were sort of right up against the election when I started writing this book, and there was it was the beginning of the kind of buzz about, does Trump have some relationship with Russia? And I kept thinking, well, someone should look at his bank accounts. If he's doing business with Russians, why guess? Go find out where his money's stored offshore. And because, the Panama Papers, it was crazy. They had, speaking of Russia, they had, a bunch of, sort of Russian oligarchs had huge amounts of money that, was, a lot of people have said was sort of being hidden for Russian politicians in these bank accounts offshore. And so I just thought, this is something people should be talking about, especially, sort of around election time. So that's sort of, that was sort of an important part of the story for me, that there's a presidential hopeful, and the one thing that could really sink him is that he's, he may or may not have money kind of offshore. So that's where he came from.
So do you feel safe walking around with this book, Cristina?
I know. I have to be very careful. Well, it's funny because Andrea Katz, who's a book blogger who I adore, when she read it, she was like, "My God, girl, you need protection. What are you writing about?" So anyway, we'll see how this all goes. But hopefully, it's all
Well, no,
all
you'll
fiction,
be fine. You'll be with Janelle, Beatrice, Jamie,
I know, yeah,
Judy.
Totally.
You're very well protected.
I'm good.
Cristina.
I'm well protected.
I fear not. Well, this is just a book you do not want to miss. It's The Banker's Wife, and visit CristinaAlger.com on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram, just the regular places where one tends to hang out and post extra fun things about books and book tour, and where you're going to be. You can just click over on see events. If Cristina is going to be where you are, don't miss. I always tell my listeners it is such a treat to get to see an author, an event, and it sounds like you have some really fabulous in-conversations. Those are even more fun, and it's fun to meet readers. What are some of your favorite parts about book tour, and are you visiting places that you haven't been with previous books?
I am actually, which is really fun. So my 2 last books came out in February. So,
so
I'm really excited not to have snow delays, which is awesome. But
right.
More than that, I get to go to all these fun beach towns, and
it's a great
I've
tour.
never been to Bethany Beach. I've never been to Rehoboth Beach, and so that's really fun. And then I'm doing an event on the Jersey Shore with Dana Perino at the Brielle Library. I've never been there. I've actually never been to RJ Julia as a writer. I've been there as a reader, and I love it.
You've been there.
So I have, but I've never been. I've never spoken there. So that's really fun. And I think I'm trying to remember. I believe I've been to everywhere except Pages in Manhattan Beach is the event I'm doing with Janelle Brown, and I have not been there. So that's going to be super fun. And I've never met her in person. I just think she's really cool. So I'm really excited.
She is. She's very cool.
At her for Watch Me Disappear. So I love that book.
I was in LA last year, and I got together Janelle, Annabelle Gurwitch, and Jade Chang, and I did a Facebook Live because I thought it would be fun. I was in LA. So let's do that. But I've been to Pages, and Watch Me Disappear, the 2 of you together. That's going to be really awesome. And remind me or send me an email, or I'll try and remember to post so that my LA gang, I always like to let people know when my favorite authors are in their city so they don't miss out, at least let people know where you're going to be. And it's, you're going to have a great time. Oh, my God. And you'll be very safe. You'll be quite safe.
Well, I love doing these in-conversations. I personally think they're so much fun. I just think they're so interesting. I mean, it's obviously just selfishly, I like meeting other writers that I either know or sort of know only just because I'm, a fan of their work. But I think it's really fun to watch 2 writers talk about what they do. And I'm doing an event with Alifair Burke, who I adore, in East Hampton. And
is that where you're starting out?
I'm doing an event, a signing only in Sag Harbor on the 3rd, which is the day it comes out. And then July 5th, I'm doing at Bookhampton with Alifair, and she's so cool. I love her work. I love The Wife. And I'm, she like me has sort of a legal background, so I just think she's fascinating, and that'll be I think it's a really fun conversation when it's 2 writers kind of, chatting.
Oh, absolutely. And then you have the audience scribbling down every book that you mentioned. So you're out east for 4th of July week. I mean, people are all out there. Everybody on the beaches should have a copy of The Banker's Wife. That is a must read. I mean, I think that's such a great time for this to come out. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And as you said, the others coming out in February. Oh my God, so much fun. I'm just imagining the fireworks, all for you, Cristina, all for you and The Banker's Wife.
I know, totally. Well, actually, it's funny because, my husband said to my daughter, next week is a really big week. And Emma goes, yeah, no, I know we have the bike parade for 4th of July. And I was like, oh, right. Yes, we have that too. So
there's that.
They're like totally
you can have
not
her
interested in my book coming out. But,
you could decorate her bike with streamers.
You've got to decorate. Yeah, totally. I know. I could use her as a tiny little billboard. But yeah, no, that's
why not?
Her main focus is decorating the bike for 4th of July. So we've got that in the calendar.
Well, a kid has their priorities, and you can't blame them for that. And they have that's sort of what keeps you grounded. It's like, yeah, mommy's book's coming out. Well, then you teach them to tell everybody, did you know my mom's book's coming out? But that sounds like a really fun place to start your tour. And I wonder, like in law school, I can't even count the amount of lawyers, who have written novels. And I know. Novel writing classes, is that part of like L1 or something? It is just an amazing amount of riches.
I agree. It's funny. I actually think legal writing is like some of the best training you could have for being a novelist, because it teaches you how to write in this really concise, very clear way. And I was an English major when I was in college, and it's funny. I remember going into my first legal writing class, and I thought, okay, of all the classes, this is the one I'm going to. I'm good for this one because I was an English major and I did well. And I got a C+ or something in my first paper, and I was horrified. And so the professor asked me to come see him, and I went to see him, and I was I was a good student in college, and I wasn't used to getting not so good grades. And he looked at me and he said, you're an English major, right? And I said, yeah. How did you know that? And he said, because this whole thing is adjectives. You need to just go in and cut out all the adjectives. Too much description.
Oh, no.
This is legal writing. You have to learn how to write, A to B to C. And he was right. And I think it actually was a really great education for me, in terms of using words in a very meaningful way and just choosing your words very thoughtfully. And so I actually think lawyers have, and lawyers all love to read and write. That's sort of why I think a lot of us end up in law school, is because, that's secretly what we like doing with our time.
I've often thought of hosting an event that was filled with my favorite attorneys turned novelists. And
totally. That would be such a fun event. There's so many.
You know what?
There'd be a huge panel.
List. I know. And I have all of these things on my literary list of things to get to at some point. And that's one of them. If somebody's listening and wants to take that, go for it. Just please invite me. And we have 3 copies of The Banker's Wife and 3 copies of The Darlings. So you get a set of 2. We have 3 lucky winners we'll receive. So go to Reading with Robin on Facebook to join in the fun. Make sure to visit CristinaAlger.com, find out where she's going to be, check out her website. And before I let you go, my favorite question always, what is Cristina reading this summer?
Oh my gosh, I have as you know, I have a huge stack by my bed. I'm sure you do too. I feel like this is such a fun summer for books. So amazing. One actually and yesterday was a bonanza of all these amazing books coming out. So I'm actually really excited. One of the books that I'm really excited I was going to start tonight is called The Darkest Time of Night by Jeremy Finley. He's an investigative journalist, and it's his debut thriller.
Oh, wow.
And
that's good.
It's so funny. A friend of mine who's a book publicist posted about it, and they're childhood friends. And and I was laughing because he and our books were reviewed next to each other in some a library journal or Kirkus or something. And my friend had, circled his book and mine on the side. And he's like, look at Jeremy's book. And I was like, my book's right next to it. But then I read the description, I'm like, this book looks incredible. So anyway, The Darkest Time of Night, I am forever linked. And then so high season, I definitely need to read before I do the event.
So good.
I'm so excited about that one.
It is so fabulous. We had Point Street Reading Series here last week, and Grant Ginder joined us, The People We Hate at the Wedding. If you haven't read that, you must. And
I love that one.
I always hate,
yes.
Oh, did you love that? I always hate when people tell me what I must read, and here I am doing it. But Grant blurbed the high season, and
he did? Okay, cool.
He did in my interview with Judy is on the iTunes Reading with Robin podcast. I just could not love that book more. She was awesome, and I didn't realize she was such a big children's book. This was her first adult novel. I know. I was unaware. I was unaware.
That's so interesting.
So she's just lovely, and you're right. There were so many books that came out yesterday. I think I did 4 giveaways on Pub Day. There were a lot.
You're a busy woman. I know.
I posted them all in the morning. I was like, here, because it just was one of those crazy days. Sometimes I like to pop on and just keep putting them on so people go back, and it's fun. And then yesterday I was like, we just like putting them all out there. It was a very, very big day for books. This is it. I mean, this is the summer season, and
I know, it's
yours
the summer
is out.
Season.
And,
I know.
There's just nothing like it.
And then
so
I'm waiting for Flynn Barry's book to come out, A Double Life, because I read her. I loved her debut, Under the Harrow. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
It's just she's an amazing writer. And so anyway, hers I think comes out in the end of July, but I've pre-ordered that one.
It does. And if you have it, I was going to say, if you send me your address, I have it here. I would have sent it to you, but you pre-ordered it. It's better to support the authors.
I am a big believer in supporting the authors that I like. So, but thank you.
Too.
I'm really excited for that one. So yeah, I've got a lot of
great titles.
So, and I'm sure they're, I don't know, infinite. Have you read Something in the Water? That one's getting a lot of attention. I haven't picked it up yet.
It's funny. I haven't, and I think Reese just picked it for her book club.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
We had the big fall event, and the publishers gave us galleys for the Reading with Robin totes. That was one of them. So I swiped an extra copy, so of course I should get to it, and ask me if I've read it yet. But I've heard wonderful things from
I've
people
heard great things about that.
Taste I admire, so that's another one. Something in the Water. I know. I really should write down the titles and post them when I post this. Although no, listen to the whole show.
Yeah, just listen to the show. You can write it down yourself.
I'm not going to make it easy.
Enough.
No, I'm not making it easy on the listeners. You just listen to us yabber on, and then from that, pluck the books. We hosted the summer event was last week, and the authors during the evening all mentioned books, and everybody was scribbling down. So Emily said,
I love that.
They were ordering from their seats, actually. They weren't just scribbling down. You could hear in the audience, wait, what book did she say? So Emily said, I will make a list, and we will send it out. So everybody, put down your phones. When there's a couple of hundred people, nothing like sort of talking to the audience. I was like, okay, and then I sent out the note to everybody thanking them for coming, and, of course, had forgotten that part, so I had to send out a P.S.
Include me on that list. I want to see what everyone's reading. That's so exciting.
Send it to you. Sure. I will absolutely send it to you, and I think our time is running out, so I want to thank you so much, Cristina. I hope maybe I'll get to see you at RJ, Julia. I wrote that one down. I'm hoping to come. I would love to see you.
I would love
and
that.
Beatrice.
I would love that so much.
We'll see. If I can, I absolutely will. It's Cristina Alger's awesome third novel, The Banker's Wife. And are you working on the next one?
I am, yes. It hopefully will be out next summer if I can get it together to finish it. So I'm working away.
So give me 3 words about the new book that you want to share, not to put you on the spot.
The new book it's called Snowbird. It's another thriller. It's set in Long Island, and it's about a series of interlinked murders that sort of go back that have been taking place in Long Island over a period of 15 years. So it's been really fun. I love it.
As a Long Island girl, I love it already. I'm very excited.
I'm a Long Island girl too. I love setting books out there. So anyway, yes, and it has another strong female protagonist, which is
awesome.
Fun for me. So
I'm very excited about that. Oh, such a pleasure, Cristina. You write it, and I'll talk about it. I always love your books.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy talking to you. And
likewise.
Thank you. Enjoy your tour. Happy reading, and I'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Robin.